Welcome to Japan Station, a production of JapanKyo.com. This is the podcast where we teach you everything you should know about Japan, plus a few other things. I'm your host, content creator, founder of JapanKyo.com, and lifelong Japan enthusiast, Tony R. Vega. This is going to be a shorter than usual episode because I'm just doing this to make an announcement. And that announcement is that I'm going to be walking across Japan once again. This time I'm walking from Iwakuni in Honshu all the way down to Kagoshima at the southern end of mainland Japan, specifically, of course, on Kyūshū. So this is going to be around 500 kilometers, and I'm going to be doing this in the fall of 2025, probably September or October, maybe into November, because, well, here's the thing, this takes around a month to accomplish. Now, in case you're not aware, I'm legally blind. I have basically no central vision, just peripheral vision. I use a white cane when I walk around outside. And when I'm doing this stuff, I use Google Maps and I ask for directions from strangers and I get lost all the time and I end up in the middle of nowhere not knowing where I am. So I've done this twice before. The first time was in the fall of 2023. I walked from Kyoto to Tokyo. That was around 500 kilometers. I called that the Tokaido Challenge because the Tokaido Road is roughly, more or less, the road that I walked along. I veered off here and there, but I followed that general route. Then in the fall of 2024, I spent another 21 days maybe walking from Kyoto to Iwakuni. So I called that the Miyajima Challenge because the goal originally was to walk to Miyajima in Hiroshima, this beautiful island with the floating torii gate. It's not actually floating. It just looks like it's floating when it's high tide and there's the deer there. I'm sure you're aware of it. So that was the goal, but I had an extra day, so I ended up walking all the way to Iwakuni. That is in Yamaguchi Prefecture. So this year, I'm continuing the journey because I want to make it all the way to the bottom of Japan. Well, at least mainland Japan. I can't walk to Okinawa, so that's out of the question, but I do want to make it to Kagoshima. This time around, I'm calling this the Kyūshū Challenge. And the point of this is to basically use my passion for Japan, the fact that I do these podcasts and that I'm active on YouTube and on social media. I'm always posting about Japan. I want to use that in order to raise awareness of the blind and visually impaired and the problems and the challenges that we face and how we overcome them. So when I'm doing this, I'm always posting every single day, multiple times a day on my X account. And last year I was doing it also on my Instagram account so people can follow along and see when I'm lost and see what I'm doing and where I am and how I'm overcoming these challenges and the crazy situations that I find myself in. I share all those stories in real time. And I do my best to show the good and the bad because there's a lot of challenges along the way. Like I said, it's not easy doing this when you're legally blind. You're getting lost all the time. You're ending up literally stranded and having to hitchhike at one point. That happened to me this past time during the Miyajima Challenge. So it's quite an adventure. It's not always fun. In fact, often it is not fun. But the point of this is to show the journey, the challenges, and the fact that I overcome these challenges. Now, I'm not looking forward to walking through Kyūshū. Well, I am looking forward to being in Kyūshū, but I'm not looking forward to walking some of the more rural areas. And Kyūshū is a bit more rural than a lot of the areas that I've walked through before, so I'm a bit nervous about it, but I want to do this. Now, here's the thing. The past years, I've raised funds. I've gotten sponsors to support me, and this year, it's no different. I need to get support from sponsors in order to afford to do this because I'm going to be in Japan for probably slightly over a month. I'm going to be walking for around 20 to 25 days. Given that it's 500 kilometers, I think it'll probably be closer to around 25 days. And so that means I have to pay for hotels and food. And of course, I live in Hawaii, so I have to fly over to Japan as well. So I need sponsors in order to afford to do this. Currently, I'm full-time into content creation. The YouTube is growing at a really nice pace. The podcast has also been growing, and I'm actually earning a little bit of money, but it is definitely not enough to survive. So I can't afford to do this without the help of others, without the help of sponsors. I really, really want to get this done. My goal is to get to Kagoshima. Everything after that will be a bonus. I don't know if I'm going to do more of these walks in the future. Maybe, we'll see. But my plan is to make it to Kagoshima. That will be 1,400 kilometers from Tokyo to Kagoshima, roughly around 869 miles. Of course, there were a couple of areas here and there that I had to skip just for the sake of my own safety, or because I just couldn't walk through a certain tunnel or whatever because it was illegal, things like that. But I also got lost a bunch. So in the end, I don't know, it's probably roughly going to be what the Google Maps estimate is, pretty much like 1,400 kilometers, which to me is a whole lot. I know there's like ultra marathon runners and people like that. That's probably not such a big deal, but for me, it definitely is. It's taken basically over a month and a half of walking, 2 months of being in Japan, and as of the present moment, over $10,000 to do this. And well, currently, I'm looking for sponsors and financial support. I have been able to gather $2,350 at the present moment because, well, I have a lot of credit card points from the previous 2 challenges, and I also have been able to get some funding from 3 sponsors. So first of all, there's United Neko Alliance. They were a sponsor last time around. They do X Spaces, so these live broadcasts on what was formerly Twitter, now X. They do a lot of stuff in the digital art field in Japan. They interview people. They're very active in that field. They're amazing people. They're personal friends of mine, Steve and Neil. Thank you so much for all your support. And then there's also Wailoaloa, who is a co-founder of another digital art project called Shinsei Galverse. They are just about to release an actual anime OVA this summer. And I'm recording this in May of 2025. So that's coming up very soon. And he, from his own personal money, decided to support me. And so he's one of the major sponsors as well. And Mecha Yugen, which is another digital art project produced by Rams, another good acquaintance of mine. He's very active in the Japan digital art space and all that. So they've contributed, and I am so, so grateful to them. Thanks to them, I've been able to get to $2,350. My ultimate goal is $4,000. Even with $4,000, I'm not 100% sure that it will cover 100% of my costs, but it will cover the vast majority, pretty much everything, maybe except like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days of hotel, perhaps. Hopefully. The exchange rate is still in my favor with dollars. So I am hoping that that's the case. But $4,000 is my goal. If you want to come on as a major sponsor, you can email me, mail@japankyo.com, and we can talk about it. Of course, all the major sponsors, I'm saying that a major sponsor is at least $100 or more of a contribution. So all the major sponsors will be mentioned in future podcasts when I talk about this, in at least one YouTube video that I plan to make over for one of my YouTube channels, and in any like posts on social media and all that. So I am going to definitely be mentioning you, and if there's anything that we can do to work together, like to promote something that you're working on, happy to do that so that we can both benefit from this. Any little bit helps, and I'm serious about it, like $5, $10, $20, whatever, it all helps. $5 pays for my breakfast or lunch for any single day. It really, really means a lot to get any contribution at this point. So if you want to go ahead and do that, regardless of the amount, you can go over to ko-fi.com/Japankyo. You can donate right now. You can drop a message and I'll be reading it in a future episode if you do that. Or you can become a Patreon, patreon.com/Japankyo or japankyo.com/Patreon. Links are in the show notes. You can go check that out and you can join for as little as $1 a month. All of that will be an immense help. Again, $3, $5, it all adds up. So again, I'm at $2,350 as of the end of May of 2025, and I'm trying to get to at least $4,000 so I can cover the majority of my costs. And if I have to pay a little bit of my own money in order to do this, I will do it because I want to accomplish this. I want to be able to say that I walked from Tokyo to Kagoshima. To me, that sounds impressive. And I think to the average Japanese person who understands how far these things are from each other and what's in between, I think that would sound pretty impressive. And it's something that I can talk about. It's something that I can use to spread awareness of the blind and the visually impaired, et cetera, et cetera. So you can check out TonyRvega.com. That's my personal website. I write a little bit about what I've done so far in the Blind Japan Challenge. That's what I'm calling it. So all that information is there as well. Feel free to reach out with ideas or suggestions, or even if it is like, hey, why don't you come stay with me while you're in Kyūshū or something like that? That'll save me money. You don't have to donate money. If you happen to live in, I don't know, somewhere in Kumamoto or something like that, and you want to let me stay at your place for a night or two, I would definitely appreciate that, because that would save a lot of money on hotel. So feel free to reach out. Again, mail@japankyo.com, or you can go over to TonyRVega.com, and there's a contact form over there as well. But even if you don't contribute, as long as you're listening and maybe spreading the word about this, I appreciate that as well. I'm trying to grow this podcast and the YouTube channel, and thankfully both have been growing lately. I am so grateful for that, because again, I'm full-time content creation here. It's not easy. I'm not covering all of my costs, so to speak, but I am growing and things are moving in a good direction. And so I think it's worth continuing to do this and continuing to invest in this thing that I've been doing for many years, and to see it continue to grow and reach new people, and hopefully reach a point where it will be sustainable and it will be able to support me in the various things that I want to continue to do, because I love talking about Japan and covering it, and I want to keep doing this for as long as I can. That's it for this episode. I will be back very soon with another totally normal episode. Thank you for listening to me begging for money. Of course, once the Kyūshū challenge is done and I'm back here in Hawaii, I will be talking about all the crazy adventures and everything that happened during that trip. I'm sure there will be things that go wrong and all that, and I'll be letting you know what happened after I come back. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and spread the word about the show. I would greatly appreciate that. See you in the next one.